Hello. Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Kenny. How are you?
So nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. That never happens.
It's just me. It's just hanging out with the family. We got the Whatnot family here. Um, I feel like I know you as good as I know family. We've gotten pretty close
Yeah,
the last few months. Hi everybody, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in.
I see
So
the soap bar.
excited.
Look at the soap bars coming in.
Yeah, no, super excited, chat. We got a treat for you today. We got the one and only Leslie. We'll introduce in a minute. We'll give it a second here. Let people come in. What up, ThriftWorks? Um, let's put up a giveaway. What do you say, Leslie? Get one of these Whatties on the deck.
Get one of the whiteys. They're so cute.
Let's get it. All right, you
They're
guys.
like, they're like old school with the wind up whitey that walks. Look at all the raids coming in.
It's all that's your family. That's all your crew. You know, nobody raids me, Leslie. Nobody raids me.
Sure they do. When I'm not on. Hi, Comfy Man. There's Ken and Flippin' Serendipity, Lavilia Fashion, Ula, Secondhand Sarcasm with the rate of 30. Welcome in, everyone. Oh my good. Opal Hang. I see you, Michelle. Michelle, hello. Sassy
Hello,
Vintage.
Sassy Vintage. What up? What are all these emojis? What are these green?
Michelle is Philly's people. She from Philly like me. Yeah. Cherry-centricity.
Oh, it's so. Is that soap?
Pico. That's soap. That's my signature. Anytime a new buyer comes into my show, we celebrate them with a bar of soap. So
because you make handmade soap.
Yes, thank you. You guys, you're amazing.
This is crazy. This is crazy. We got a celebrity in the building.
No.
Well,
fantastic. You guys are fantastic. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Shop Happy 2019. I saw a repurposed resale. All the seller support friends are here. Yes, not just representing me, but representing Whatnot as well. So
what do you say, Leslie? We kick this off.
Yeah.
We got 250 people in the chat. What's up, everybody? We'll do some quick intros, and I'd love to just get right into it. So everybody hasn't met me yet. My name is Kenny, and I've been here at Whatnot for about almost next week it'll be 2 years, which is unbelievable because it feels like 2 months, but it also feels like 20 years at the same time. It's one of those like space and time doesn't really exist in Whatnot. And it's been a great time. And I sit on the community team, and you know, our team is really focused on creating meaningful programs that help build community and create a sense of belonging across categories and across all of our customers. So I really do feel like, you know, we've got a really awesome job here. We get to spend it mostly with our user community here and get really close to you all, understand kind of what's working well, what would you like to see more of, and deeply understand what you're going through. So today we got a little treat. So we've got, you know, Leslie here. Leslie and I have been working together here and there on some community work. And I've been tuning into her shows more and more recently. And I just think that Leslie really kind of exemplifies how to build community in the best possible way on Whatnot. I think she does it with grace, but also it's very, very, like, she's very authentic about who she is and how she does what she does. And I felt like it would be really cool to get her on here and just, you know, almost like do a podcast kind of thing where I'll just ask her some questions. Most of the questions are around, you know, community and building community and all of that. And my hope is that, you know, it's inspirational to you all and that you guys get some, you know, gold nuggets out of what she has to share with us. And throughout the show, I'll be putting up giveaways. You guys can enter to win. What I do want to say is I'd like to get through kind of the questions that I've already kind of written out. I'd like to get through those. And towards the end, we'll do a little bit of a Q&A. So if you have a question for Leslie specifically about something she shares with us, or just a question that you'd like to ask her about how, you know, her business on Whatnot, drop that question in the chat. We've got Kiyomi modding, and she's going to be pulling those questions and putting them on a separate document that I'll be going through towards the end of this interview. Hello, that's Charm. That's Kiyomi. Shout out to Charm. Also, if you don't follow me, chat, I'm going to pin my username. Feel free to drop me a follow at Silver Drip. I go live once in a while with my nephew, and we sell Hot Wheels. So I'm gonna pin myself here, a little plug, and go ahead and drop me a follow. Feel free to to come check me out as well. So without further ado, I'm gonna let Leslie, the one and only, I consider her my friend. Leslie, please go ahead and introduce yourself and maybe just a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leslie. I'm a reworker's passion. I do all the things. So I'm married. I have 5 biological children and 5 stepchildren. They're all adults now, so don't worry. Most people are very surprised by that. I've been a hand creative for most of my life, 44 years, and I've been selling professionally for 25 years. When I met my husband in 2011, he was reselling. He was already retired as a firefighter, and reselling was his side gig. And so a couple years in, I decided to join him on that journey, but in a separate, I did my own accounts and everything like that. And I really fell in love with it and sold on all the platforms. And I started social media and I started a YouTube channel, and I really just kind of fell in love with it. In 2021, when we decided to move, for me, it was kind of like cross country from Delaware to North Carolina. I had to figure out a way to like liquidate without bringing all the items. And originally I found out about Whatnot through Chris, who is Daily Refinement. And he was talking about it. And I really wanted to get into it, but I was so busy. And so at the time, I just did a lot of live selling on Instagram just to kind of get rid of my stuff. And then once I got to North Carolina, I decided I didn't want to resell anymore. So that's kind of where I'm at, right where I was 3 years ago, that I was at a standstill in my business. So that's just a little bit about me.
So five kids. That's a lot. That's a big family.
It is. It's a lot of mouths to feed, a lot of, a lot of sports and activities. Yes, it was a lot.
Awesome.
It was well worth it though.
So what, I guess kind of to set this off, what inspired you to become active in building a community here on Whatnot?
So I talked about when I came on Whatnot. So I came on Whatnot in February 2022. And when I signed up and got approved as a seller, I was actually a vintage seller. I didn't apply as women's contemporary. I was applied as a vintage seller. And then as I went into different shows and saw what everyone was doing, I just kind of felt like, you know what, I want to be true to myself and just stay in the handmade lane. But there wasn't really a category at the time. So women's contemporary welcomed me and vintage welcomed me. But since I decided to come on Whatnot and change my name, because I was a reseller's passion, now I'm a reworker's passion, which is like a play on that, right? I woke up one day and I thought it was a great idea. And so once I let my reselling go, I felt a disconnect to my previous community, which I on YouTube and Instagram, and I kind of felt lost. And so one day I just said, let me try to do like a DIY kind of show up. So I started showing up like every Sunday. It's different people here, Secondhand Sarcasm, Cherish Simplicity, Reclaim Cash, Jen's Multiverse, who were seeing my shows, and I would go live and just start kind of talking to the community. And I just felt that there was a really nice vibe here, of people who were just kind of showing up just to see what I was doing. And so one day I decided, you know what, let me start doing what I was doing before, just having some chats, right? Finding out what interests them and seeing if I can help them anyway, and just bring what I learned from before, my 8 years of reselling and my 25 years of a handmade seller over here. And it just really, for me, just started as a conversation. And that's how I got started here.
I love that. So it's such a natural progression to where you're at today. And I see all this love in the chat. So you really do have a bit of a fan base, which is so cool to see. What is community, the word community, what does it mean to you in the context of Whatnot, right? Because you've been on other platforms and you've built community across different platforms. But in the context of Whatnot, how would you help maybe a new seller understand what it is to build a community? What is community on Whatnot? And how have you approached it, like, to foster that?
For me, everything starts with your why. Why are you here? And I talk about this in my chats now, so I'll take it back. I want people, when we first come on, you probably, you start selling because your friend told you about it, or you may have seen it because you're on YouTube and you got on thinking you can sell your stuff. And then you go into people's shows and you're like, well, they're talking, they're talking to people. Why are they talking? I just want to buy some stuff. And you realize that there are partnerships, there are friendships, that people are kind of like close. And so what I try to get new people and people, community as a whole, to realize that your tribe is kind of here. The people that you didn't know existed, people who are like you. So you'll go into a show and you'll see somebody like you. And my real truth is, the reason that I show up the way that I am is because someone else doesn't believe that they can show up the way that they are. So in reality, not too many people would show up with a bald head or whatever. And so I just show up as my true authentic self and just start talking to people. And again, it starts with a conversation, right? And the conversation could just be about, what do you do? Why are you here? What do you want to sell? How do you want to grow? And I just kind of take it from there. And I meet people where they are. And that's how I've been all my life. I don't look at them. I don't care what color they are. I don't care where they come from. And I think that's really important. Just letting people know that you are important. And so as they come in, they think they're coming to buy something, but they're going to experience something different. And then they realize I have friends who are coming in consistently. And then if I go into somebody else's show, then there's another friend. And they're like, wow, I was just over there and here she is. But we're all just building. And it's so many people who are like-minded here. Like, even though we think we're different, there's so many people who are the same. And that's what I like about this community. It's more than a selling app. It is really a community app. If you take the time to just pay attention, it really is all about community.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's such an important thing to say. It's kind of like what differentiates Whatnot from most other e-commerce platforms is you have this level of authenticity that you are able to bring to your audience. And if you play that right, if you bring your authentic self, like you do, Leslie, I think you're a master class in this. And I think anyone who knows you understands exactly what that, I mean, like you are you, and you're, like take it or leave it. And I think that when you say about finding your tribe, finding your people, it's funny, I can relate to that. Like I sell diecast of all things, and my story. I only started selling it because my nephew's into it. It's not like, but then I got a little bit into diecast myself just through that experience. And we have made, like, there's this guy in the UK who, like, if I'm ever in London, I'm going to meet up with this guy. Like, we're friends, and it's so interesting how that works. I mean, you can't do that in any other kind of like asynchronous traditional marketplace online. And I think that's what, I think the takeaway message, and I'd love your thoughts here on this, Leslie. It's like, if you're a seller on Whatnot, I think it's, be yourself. Like, I think copying somebody else's style is ultimately not going to take you very far, because people will stick around because they like you for you. Right. And then obviously, yes, there's an importance to having good inventory and attractive pricing and everything else. But fundamentally speaking, like, there's a lot of shows that I tune in and I don't buy stuff, but I love watching those people, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's a two-parter. So I always come on the app and I'm looking for my friends, the people who I identify as my friends, that I can't get enough of their shows. I can't get enough of their energy. And I want to come in and support them as much as I can. And that's what I really love about the rating feature, where we can rate our friends. And the other piece is I can get into shows when I sit down and I decompress for the night. I'll continually tell myself that I'm not going to go back on the app. I'm done for the night. I'm not going to go back onto the app. But what I do is I try to find a positive space where I can sit in my chair and crochet. Like, instead of watching what's going on in the world, who can I go in and even just listen to? I don't have to see their face. I greet them, I type in hello or whatever, and then I put the phone down and just crochet and just listen to them and be a part of the chat without actively typing anything. They know I'm there, hopefully. And I just like what they're talking about. I like how they treat the audience that's coming in. And those are the people that I continually show up for. But I also show up for people who send me DMs saying, can you come in and just like look at my show and say hello or whatever. I try to go into at least 10 times a day a seller that only has maybe one person in their show, or something like that. I love to go into shows where people don't know me. And that makes me feel really good. You go in, you start a conversation, and you say, listen, if you have any questions or anything, send me a message. So it's really one of the best community apps there is. It's like replaces anything negative that you can find on YouTube or any other social platforms. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think that that's such an important thing to note, especially if you're just a new seller getting started. It's like the value of authenticity. And a lot of people think, Leslie, a lot of people, I believe, they think they need to come to Whatnot as this like bombastic personality and like this like influencer type of vibes and all that. And really, that's so not the case. I mean, those people do well also, but that's not a requirement to succeed here. Not at all. You just be you, and kind of the people who are attracted to you for all the right reasons will stick around.
Well, the interesting piece of that is we do know that we have so many great sellers who are coming over from social media and YouTube and things like that. They have a set audience over there, and it's kind of like a wake-up call when they come over here. And of course, they're going to bring their friends, they're going to bring their crowd, but the people who are already ingrained in this app, they don't know who you are. Yep. They don't care. I'm not going to mention anybody's name, of course, but they don't care who you are. So you're not going to bring any. You have to like really start from scratch here, right? You have to start from the beginning. Of course, it'll probably build quick because of who you are on social media. But I know so many people on this app that have grown and have no idea who half of the resellers. I talk about my podcast. I've interviewed 150 resellers, and I guarantee you, a lot of people on this app don't know half of them. So when you just come as yourself. No vanity or anything like that. Start your show, meet new people, and embrace the people as they come, and don't be bigger than the app, because you're not. To me, you're just a person. I don't get into like, oh my gosh, you're famous or anything like that. It's not a big deal to me, because you still have to kind of show up and really kind of prove yourself, as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
No, I couldn't agree more, and it's so well said. All right, let me get back to some questions I have for you. How do you keep your community engaged and motivated to participate in your shows?
Well, we have a lot of fun. Well, one, you see the soaps. Look at the soap. Flip My Sarah did Long Shot Co. Yes. I try to encourage sellers to come up with something that helps them stand out, right? That is kind of hard because this app is full of people. But believe it or not, there's something in you that you have that no one else has. There's something in you. If you think about who you are outside of this app, who you are to your family, who you are to your community, bring that in. If anyone's ever told you had a great smile or a great personality, or you're great at a craft or something, bring that onto the app. Search around and see if anyone's doing what you're doing. If they're not, then bring that. And so that's what I've done. All the things that you see me do are the things that I've done. Soap is like a new venture. So that's a whole new group of friends. And I'm really excited about the growth of that. But before that, I did so much, and I just have fun. And I encourage people who do the same thing that I do, right? I don't care what you do. I don't care if you copy me, because we're individual people. So I greet everyone. That's really important to me. There are some people that their persona is their username. I'm not impressed by that. And it's not to put anybody down, because I'm a reworker's passion. But I prefer you to know my name, because that means that you have invested some time to get to know me. And like, if you get to a point that you can't recognize anyone, the chat is moving so fast or whatever, that's understandable. But when you come into my chat, right, I know your name. So Kenny comes in, hey, Silver Drip, what's going on? So I always say your name and your username, so that we have a connection. And then also for me, that's really important. And I explain this in my chats, is you'll never get bigger than the app. It always keeps you human. I was raised not to be fanatical about anyone. I grew up in Philly, the Eagles. We weren't wearing jerseys. You're not wearing Michael Jackson tees or anything like that. So I love that we can do that now, but it really made a point, because they're famous, but they also are people. And so I treat people here the same way. You're never going to be bigger than the app. If I notice you're a human being, you can never treat me bad. You can never disrespect me. And I'll just see you probably have some challenges that you're trying to overcome by bringing the negative energy. And if I can pull the positive out of you in my chat, you probably came in with a bad attitude, and hopefully you leave with a smile and some food for thought. So when you come back, you'll keep coming back. And, you know, just greeting people where they are. That's really important to me.
I love it. I love the overwhelming positivity that you just kind of exude. It's like a light, you know, it's like a bright light, and I just can't get enough of it. Any advice for newer sellers who are trying to build trust, right? And so think of it, you're a new seller and you're trying to get people to buy stuff, right? And maybe you haven't ever been live before. Maybe it's a little bit different from anything you've ever done. And is there any tips and tricks or best practices on how to quickly and effectively build trust with buyers and non-buyers alike?
Yeah, that is really hard, because the app is kind of established, but you can do it. One of the things that I tell people, just kind of come with an open mind, right? Forget that you've seen anything else, because the problem is, right, that we have so many great sellers. And when you come in, the first thing that you see are numbers. You look at the numbers. You don't look at like what they're selling. You're like, oh, that person has a lot, so now they're famous and they're big and I'll never get there. It's not about them. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. Just like my sign says right here, get out of your own way and just take your time. Come up with a plan. This is what I used to tell my children. Come up with a plan. If you jump on and you don't have any idea what you're doing, of course, you're going to be flailing along the way. You know, you jump in the pool and you can't swim, right? But if you've practiced and you have a plan, write down some goals, figure out why you want to be on the app, what it is you're going to sell, how you're going to set up your store. All the information is there. Whatnot is provided. Everything. Seller Academy, everything is there for you. Read everything thoroughly, right? Read everything thoroughly, and then schedule some shows. The other thing I would suggest doing is what I do. I don't know. I don't know what the temperature of the app is, should I say. When I first started, I could go in and just say hello to people, whatever. So many people are different. Not everyone's like me. Not everyone's like all my friends. So you have to be careful. You can't go in and spam people's chats, but get to know people. I had about 500 to 600 followers before I went live. I studied the app for 4 months and just kind of got to know. I didn't just jump right in. Just kind of went into different categories. And now we have so many categories. Pick one category and try not to be all over the place, because we come right in and you have the mentality of a person who's sold on all the other platforms. You know, like eBay, you can sell everything on there, but just pick one thing and kind of start with that. So if it's clothes, come in with your clothes and start having some shows. Pick different times, play around with when you're going to go live. Come in and do a 10-minute show, 10 items for 10 minutes, 20 items for 20 minutes. Don't get overwhelmed about it, right? Build it around your family. It's so much information, and I'm pretty sure the chat can provide a lot. It's a lot I can provide, but sometimes I break that over different shows, or sometimes I just give little nuggets. That's one of Kenny's words during my shows. So it is a lot, but what I do say more than anything else is know who you are. Know who you are, because there will be negativity, there will be some challenges, and just be prepared to just bring your best. But if you don't show up, you don't know. Try not to be disappointed in your first show, because you're going to see someone who's doing something, but they work hard. I still work hard every day. Things shift. We're going into a new season, and I still try to figure out, okay, what can I do different? You know, how can I pivot over here? How can I pull some things back? So you're going to have to figure that out as you go. And one thing is, it's a lot of information, and it can be information overload. Don't overload your brain with everything. You know, take in what you can, take a lot of notes, and use those notes to, you know, set up your shows. But you can't do it if you don't show up. You can't do it if you don't show up. So just like today, people send me messages, especially after the seller support show that I just did. I came out and it had to be about 40 messages that just blew up, and everyone's asking the same question. But I'm like, you've been on the app, put some shows in there, right? Get started. Don't tell me that you're going to do it. Just do it. You can't fail or succeed if you don't do something. So just do something. That's it.
So motivating. I mean, you know, it's a lot of sellers have come to me, and you've probably gotten this too, Leslie, and they say, what's the one thing, I want to be a successful seller. What's the one thing I need to do? And my answer is always the same. It's always keep showing up. Like consistency on Whatnot is probably the best piece of advice I could offer anybody, whether or not you're an influencer or someone who's never sold anything in your life or anything in between. It's like, this is like a great level playing field. And oftentimes, I've heard a seller, they're excited to go live for the first time. They go live and then, they don't have a great show and like they get discouraged. And my whole thing is that like my first show was an absolute disaster from the beginning to the end, including the way that I packaged and shipped the few things that I did sell. I had thrown Hot Wheels in like poly mailer bags. I got the worst reviews. I mean, it was just an abomination, and I work here, and so like there's a learning curve. And it's like, be kind to yourself, give yourself the grace to learn.
Grace.
Like it's nothing, like no one was born with this like hidden talent of being a live stream e-commerce seller on Whatnot. It's one of those things that like you refine it over time. And now I used to get super anxious, by the way, when I used to go live. I used to get so worked up and now like I can't wait. Now it's like I go and as soon as I hit that go live, it's like boom, I'm in a room full of friends. And the only reason it's like that today is because I kind of worked through the challenges. And I would love to hear your thoughts, because I know a lot of folks get discouraged. They come in the app, they're all gung-ho, they got this great inventory, and they're like, I'm gonna quit my 9-to-5 and I'm gonna be a full-time Whatnot seller and I'm gonna live the dream. And you can, and that's our mission. But it takes a little bit of work and consistency. And so what are your thoughts around that?
It takes a lot of work. I was actually telling you earlier that I was being co-hosted earlier, and someone in the chat said, what's the secret sauce? And they were talking to the person who was hosting it. I typed in secret sauce is work. That's the secret sauce. It's work. You have to show up. You have to fail. You have to fail. You have to fail. You have to fail. There are some people who are come on and they may have a good show. I've seen that this week, a couple people that I know, and they came right on and they had about 3 good shows. But what could happen is next week, you might not have a good show. Now, what are you going to do if that show isn't a good show? Are you going to keep going and figure out how you can tweak some things or figure out why that wasn't a good show? Or are you going to just give up, right? Because that is it. You have to work hard. I consider myself successful. My success is based on me, no one else. I don't compare myself to anyone else because this is what pays my bills. I haven't worked for anyone but myself since 2018. I don't work a 9-to-5. I work a 24/7. And that means that I'm the person who has to make sure that it gets done. If I'm too tired, or if I have a migraine or whatever, am I going to show up? Because what do I lose if I don't show up? Right? It's not like if I have the flu, I'm not getting out of the bed. But if I have a migraine, I did 3 shows back to back last week. I had four days of migraine because I get them once a month. But I showed up because this is income, but it's also something that I enjoy. But I also show up like that because I want people to see that you can still show up in spite of whatever you're going through, But there's no magic potion, and we all start at the beginning. I want people to remember that. That's the key. Because you come in and you see all these people and you're like, wow, I can do that. We all start at the bottom. But if you don't have a solid foundation, everything you're going to do is tumble, right? Probably like that in church or something, right? If you don't have a solid foundation, that means getting, some good items, setting up everything, make sure your lighting is good, just small stuff that doesn't even cost any money. Doesn't cost any money to just kind of get started. This app, everything is in place for you. I joke sometimes when I do my shows, I said, if you have been on the app for 6 months or less, you're welcome. And I say that because as a seller who's been on, like I haven't been on since the beginning, but I've been on when there was no bundling, right? There was no rating, there was no tips. And so the community, we ask for what we want, and Whatnot tries to do the best they can to put it in place. So all the things that are in place or because they listen to the community. So you're welcome, all the new people. So if you're coming on and you're complaining, let's walk over for a rate.
Well, what's so crazy about that, and you're 100%. I mean, I've been here for 2 years, and where the app is today and where it was 2 years ago is is such unbelievable advancement. And but the crazy part to me is that we're just getting started.
Yeah, I love it.
Like we're like 1% done. Like there's so much that we're still going to build, and there's so much great feedback that keeps coming in that we take, and we prioritize. And it's just like I can tell you from being a full-time Whatnot employee that like I've had some really great jobs in my career, and I've been blessed to work at really great companies. And a lot of companies say that they're like, customer centric or customer obsessed. It's like a corporate tagline. A lot of companies like to say that, but I've never been at a company that literally everyone at the company is that way. And you could see it in everything that we do. And it's so unbelievably inspiring to be a small part of something like that. Like we're helping people, turn their passions into businesses, and we're connecting them through commerce, and we're doing it by listening to them. It's like so cool.
Yeah, and I can agree. The last job that I had, because I'm from like a food profession, and when I married my husband, I couldn't get a job that would pay me what I was getting used to paying. So I went to work into the school district. So I worked in child nutrition. I became a lunch lady, and you would think that these people would have the love of the children, but they were just waiting to get to their pension, and so not so very happy. Now, not doing a lot in front of the children, but behind the scenes. And it wasn't a big deal until my last 2 years. I was a supervisor, and I had to like stop a lot of that. We're the first people that these children see. They're hungry. We want to treat them with respect. And so there's not a lot of community there. There's a lot of gossip and different things. And so there's not a lot of jobs out there that, like you said, I've worked in corporate myself, that are structured that way. But if you can come onto an app like this, your family that you're born into that family. There's going to be challenges and things like this. But if you come on the app and you make some friends, you are building an awesome family, people that you can rely on, that you can contact, that will have your back. If you haven't been live for a few days, they check in on you. This community is like such an amazing family. I'm in a small town. I live in a big city, and I get lonely sometimes. And I can come on the app and there'll always be someone there that I can just go into their show and feel like, you know what, I'm not so lonely anymore. So it's such a great thing. All of a sudden, my daughter wants to do dishes.
And I saw the greatest comment by Wild Granny wrote in the chat, "Make money and make friends." That's such a great, that is a really good one. I might have to borrow it. All right, Leslie, have there been any moments, maybe talk a little bit of challenges or something like that. Have there been moments where the community surprised you in a positive way? Maybe you were having a bad day, or, any kind of nice, really interesting moments that you experienced?
So the best one was actually, I had a raid train for my birthday. So July 20th was my birthday, and I wanted to, the closest friends that I had. And I have to apologize for people I forgot. There's so many people who I love on this app. So all the people who came to mind. And so it had to be like, Secondhand Sarcasm asked me, I was like, it was 40 people, but it looked like it was 66 people, I think. And each person had a 10-minute slot, and one behind the other, they just came in and just blessed. My goal was for it to be a positivity chat, not about me, but to speak life and love into the community. Now, a lot of people did kind of talk about me. So when it would be a break or I'd be like, listen, friends, it's not about me, it's about the community. But they blessed me so much. And then they were like buying stuff from people's chat that I had like 3 days in a row, packages piled outside my door. But during the chat, I just was crying. And it was just such an amazing experience. Like Jen's Multiverse, Jen was not even doing any raid trains, and she came on. Flippin' Mimi's sister passed away, and she created a raid and raided in. And they said tips and all kinds. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, just amazing. Like this community, I'm just like choking up thinking about it. Just amazing. And just having, even like now in the present, having a show and people are raiding into you, just like not a raid train or anything like that. I'm sitting there and I'm just having a regular show, and then raid after raid after raid. I think I had 6 raids on Saturday, just that kind of thing. And I appreciate that, Julie Becker. I appreciate that. And I let people know that you could have went anywhere else, but you came here. I literally live in a state of humility, in a state of gratitude, because all the people on the app, you bring your people to me, and then the people who stay on the train, I thank them as well, because you could have just jumped off. You don't know me. If you're saying, like, if Julie Becker's great with doing these raids, and she'll say, we're going to raid. and you come in and I just think it's amazing. So I'm not surprised about humanity. I'm not surprised about humanity because people are amazing. I think people are more amazing than people think that they are. And so when they come into my shows, it just shows me that, they care about me. But for them to continue coming back, that's it. So that particular moment, July 20th, was the best, but the continued support and love that I get every day is amazing.
That's so beautiful. It reminds me of, I started, working here. It was September, almost 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I joined in September, and in November, we did this like toy drive for
Mm-hmm.
charity for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at that moment, so I went live like from a Walmart, and all the things that were, purchased, basically, like I would just grab toys off the shelf and put it in the cart. And, my expectation was that like maybe I'll be able to buy a handful of little toys.
Yeah.
Leslie, I walked out of there with 2 buggies overflowing with toys. Yeah. And it was then that I was like, okay, Whatnot is different. Yeah. It's special, and it's just unbelievable. Like the power of community and commerce, like that combination. I've never seen it anywhere else. And I think that it's so incredibly powerful. It's good for it's good financial. Like you could make a lot of money here too, but you could also make actual like meaningful relationships. Yeah. And I think that combination is so unique to us, and it's so cool to see it. I experienced it. Sounds like you experience it all the time. Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. Chat. Let us know if you experience it.
Yeah, like just real quick, an example. I'm on a group of collaboratives, and we do weekly raid trains. And one of the co-coordinators, her son actually passed away this week. She got the call while she was actually on a chat, and we real quickly in 2 days put together a raid train, which is going to be this Sunday. So I hope people can come and support Heather's Love Train. But like that's what I'm talking about. Like if you have children or if you know anyone who's lost anyone, we want you to just come and just send me a message. But that is the power of, and then all proceeds go to Heather. I'm not keeping anything. And that's just really what it's about,
How can people support that? Is there someone they can call?
So you can, it's Heather's Love Train. So you can find that, just go in, bookmark all the shows. If you can, like raid into all the shows, if you can, send me a message if I'm talking too much, but raid in. Tips, all the tips go to Heather. All of any money that I make, they're 20-minute trains, and all the co-coordinators, we do a weekly train called Shopaholic. It's something that goes on every single day in every category. Handmade fundamentals is the snacks and just different people that I see in here, and it's just I can't even talk too much about it, but yeah, so it just makes me miss my son more because, but yeah, so I've seen it. I've seen where people raise money for people whose houses have burnt down. Another seller in the community passed away 3 weeks ago in the Benches community, and the same thing, same group of people came together and they did raid train. But this is it. So wherever you see negativity, just cross that out and get into with the people who are positive, that will show up for you. And you also show up as well. Because people, they need love and compassion. And this app is such a great place to find it. If you get on that raid train, or if you see raid trains like that, then those are your people. Because the people who, I can only speak for myself and the people that I know, they want to help. There's not too many people who have shows and they're like, I don't want to make any money. I go on a lot of shows like that. I go in 10 minutes and I'll, whatever I make, that's what it's a 10-minute show. But I make the choice, like I don't have to do it. So there's not that many people who are going to get on for 20 minutes or so and say, oh, I don't want anything in exchange for that. So, yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, you're an amazing human being, and you talk about, humanity is greater than like sometimes we give it credit, and it's so cool that you could actually see that across Whatnot and across all the categories. I jump into categories that I might not necessarily be interested, and I'm always blown away by like the community that lives in those categories, and it's like thriving and it's alive, and there's like this camaraderie that it really helps restore kind of my faith in in the world at large. And it's cool. That's a really cool thing that you pointed out. let's talk about business a little bit here. Like, bottom line, how has community kind of impacted your sales and your business? Is it something that you would say, hey, like, I like community for all the reasons I mentioned, but also it's helped me be successful?
So this is the truth in this. All the other things that I've done, like my crochet and everything, I was already doing that. You know, already selling different apps, doing pop-ups and stuff for years. And when I came on here, of course, handmade, man, I was doing tie-dye T-shirts and things like that. So this is where the community has really been a support. Because I just mentioned my daughter, she's 26 years old and she's on the spectrum. That's what society says. And she's neurodiverse. She has autism. She has Asperger's. I just call her Stephanie. And a year ago, she couldn't find a job. When we lived in Delaware, she had a culinary certificate and she worked at a major university for 5 years in the kitchen. When we moved to this small town, she could not find a job. When she did, they treated her disrespectfully and there was a lot of things going on. So I said to her one day, listen, let's come up with something that we can do to help you make money. I had purchased her a soap kit 3 years previous. And I said, you know what? You have the base. Let's see if we can sell some soap. I invested like $40 on Amazon, took what she already had, and we tested out to make some soap. And the first clue that I knew this community was going to support was in between whatever else I was showing. I said, listen, I just want to introduce to you, I want to start selling soap in the next few weeks. So I had a few bars, bam, they sold out like within a couple of minutes. And then I said, my daughter's going to be doing her own shows on my platform. I just want to see like what's going to happen. And they were buying my soap. And when she went live, when I say the community like showed up, it was amazing, very overwhelming for her just because of the social aspect. And so she would do her shows and kind of pull back a little bit. She actually has a show tonight if anybody wants to come to that. But and it worked out well. She's not as excited as I am. So I said, you know what? Let me see what I can do with this soap. Right? Started selling last October. I'm literally 6,000 bars of soap in. When I say this community is amazing, wow. Like I have made more money and I haven't even been able to branch it out anywhere else. Whatnot has been my primary place that I sell soap. So I sell these cat hats. They're really big. I've been told I'm the cat hat person here. You got one for Kiyomi. Yep.
I did buy one for Kiyomi.
He bought the pink one for Kiyomi. And they're but it's just been amazing. But just the soap, and I've been like testing it and playing around. I just got a brand deal with the essential oil company, and I can talk about that. And then people come into my chat and they talk about my soap and all of that. And it's just been really amazing. I've been doing these face bars, and so every week, and like you're talking about being able to take care of yourself financially, this is a way to do it. I never a year ago thought that I would be able to do it, right? But here we are. And so they just keep showing up and then shouting out. Again, I was on somebody's show earlier and someone had said in the chat, oh, yeah, Leslie's soap is amazing. I have a son who has acne. And then the person's like, where can I find it? And I was like, I sell it. And they were like, is it in your marketplace? Yes, it's in my marketplace. I packed up all these sales from today's show. And then I got a message saying, oh, you sold something. I was like, oh, so I made 2 sales in my marketplace. And like an hour before I got on here with you. And so the power of community is amazing. One person tells one person, and then so on and so on, right?
That's amazing, and congratulations. I'm so happy that you're succeeding as well on the business side of this. What role do collaborations with other sellers on Whatnot play in growing your own community and your own business? I mean, maybe there are people here who are selling on Whatnot, but they haven't really ventured out to collaborate or make friends or network with other sellers. And maybe you could talk to us a little bit about your experience with that.
Yeah, 100%. That I 100%. I think collaborating with other categories, and I say this because I always talk about this, and I don't say this for people to get tired of me saying it, because the app is still growing, right? So when I came on, the handmade category was called arts and crafts. And what I was selling, I couldn't put in that category. So where can I sell my stuff? My tie-dye tees, women's contemporary. And that's where I got started. And so I built up a group there. And so when new people come on the app who are like, we're going to talk about the handmade community, since that's where my love is, where my heart is, and they come on the app and I say, are you interacting with other categories? Are you going to other people's shows and introducing yourself? You know, are you going into the card category, into the tea category, into the vintage and ephemera? Get to know some other people. It's the same way. They have to come find you. You have to come find them. If no one knows who you are, you're probably not going to grow. In the handmade community, we're all friends. So we're all trying to make some money, right? So it's going to be hard for a handmade seller who has 3 crochet friends. They don't want to buy from each other. So how are you going to make sales? And there are amazing raid trains that you can get on, right? omgyg.com. I don't know if Christina's here. She has a website which has all these events. If you have events, you can put them on there and people can find raid trains they want to get on. The raid trains have helped me so much. The majority of the people I know, because there are people who will say, no, I don't want to get on that raid train. Well, I'm going to get on that raid train. And can you imagine getting on a raid train and you're the only handmade seller? They've been watching vintage for the last 5 shows, and then all of a sudden is a bright new category and you make 10 sales in 10 minutes. So don't be afraid to search for a new community. If you have a friend who's on a raid train, ask them, how can you get on? If you have a friend who's selling with a group of people, find out who they are and do your own thing, right? If you see a need or a void, do your own raid trains. You don't always have to say, how can I get on a raid train? If you see something that is missing, then you become that person who puts it together. But that's how I've grown a lot, by stepping out of my comfort zone. Most people look at me and say, you're very confident and I see what you're doing. But in order for me to do that, I have to do some things that really make me afraid, you know, and say, look for this person or send DMs. People will tell you no. People will say, I'm not interested. But I guarantee you, as you start to grow, 6 months later, they'll be looking for you, because that's what happened with my podcast. In the beginning, people were like, oh, you're not big enough. A year later, same 3 people. Oh, nope, next.
Well, Leslie, I feel like I could talk to you literally all day. Without like, you know, no, I mean, look, this has been so, I maybe a handful more questions, but let's try to rapid fire through them.
Sure.
Because we do have a few questions from the chat that I want to get to you. But before that, I just want to ask you advice for new sellers. So what advice would you give a new seller looking to break through and build a strong community on Whatnot?
One of the things is I give suggestions instead of advice. You know, sometimes that can come back to bite you, but I would definitely just say, you know, get started. Book some, once you, I don't know if onboarding's the same, but when you do onboarding, they say book a show right away. They don't say go live right away. That's your commitment. Now you're in there, get committed. Because if you don't do that, time goes by. Book a few shows and set a time and then do a show. The rehearsal mode is there. Get a bunch of friends together and go rehearsal mode. Do a private show to get started. So many tools are in place for you. Read all the verbiage and you know, be ready. Find some people. Send me a message. I help as many people as I can. The only thing you'll get from me is a yes or a no. If I can do it, I'll do it. If I can't, I won't. I don't mind saying no. I'm really big on the no thing though, because people are afraid to say no. But I just think bring your best item. Pick a day and go live, and then do that show, and then pick another day and go live, and just keep going until you find your space in this Whatnot world. I believe that you can do it. I believe in you, friends. I know that you can do it, but you have to have some belief in yourself and not the other people. Black out all the noise.
Yeah, it reminds me of something you said earlier in the show, which I really liked, which is you can't fail or succeed if you don't do the thing.
Yeah.
So do the thing. I mean, that's it, right? Just do it. And
that's the quote. The quote is actually in my bio. It's Eleanor Roosevelt. It's not me, but it's my life quote. Do the thing you think that you cannot do. That's my life quote.
There you go. You heard it here, chat. New sellers, do the thing that you think you cannot do. All right, let's hit a couple questions from the chat. So someone mentioned here earlier on that they feel like their personality is too boring to go live. What advice do you have for people who don't think, you know, live is for them?
You don't have to go live. You can fill up the marketplace if you want. But I think that if you haven't tried it, you don't know for sure. Because what's boring to you may be entertaining to someone else. We all have different personalities. We're all from like all over. This is what I tell people when they come into my show, especially like if it's a raid train. If it's a raid train, they come in, you get dumped in as a group, right? And I'm like, if you don't like positivity, I'm not the person for you. That's exactly what I said. Because I love to give you positive words. I love to feed love, life into you. And that's what I say, and if you can't stand that, then you're in the wrong spot.
Love it. Love it. And then what's your take? Another one of our viewers said, what's your take on showing your face or not?
So for me, I've been doing it for such a long time because I have I had to work into that. But I prefer to show my face. People can tell you, I don't know if you stayed for my whole my whatnot seller. I cannot not show my face. I get awkward when I don't show my face. Now, this is my belief, though. This is my belief. If you're going to be a seller who does makeup and jewelry and things like this is just my suggestion. At least show your face sometimes, because there's a trust factor in that as well. If you never show your face and you want people to buy from you, build up a community. And when you get started, show your face. And at the end, show your face. We have face cam. You can do face cam, show your hand, and then your face comes up in the little box there. But I have a really big trust situation if I don't know who you are. You want my money, but you don't want to show me. Again, that's my own personal opinion on the situation.
That's a good one.
And I want to make a point. I talk about myself. I don't want to be negative. I know who I am. I'm an incredible, beautiful person. It took me 55 years to get there. I am a Black woman who has bald. I'm alopecia. I have an autoimmune disease. This is not so if I can show up, you can show up too. I don't care if you're disabled. I don't care if you're on the spectrum, neurodiverse, ADHD. You can show up. Stop talking yourself out of it. Someone told you couldn't do it, but I'm telling you can do it. And you won't know until you try.
I think that's an incredible place to stop. I mean, you are a beautiful person for sure. I've gotten so much out of this. I don't know about you, chat, but this has been probably one of my favorite ones that I've done here on Whatnot Sellers. I think it's just a testament to you and what you do. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us all and kind of bringing that love and positivity to the Whatnot Sellers account.
Thank you.
Yeah, chat, blow it up for Leslie. I mean, I can't, just beside myself. I think you're unbelievable in so many different ways. And I'm grateful to call you a friend and so happy that we get to hang out more often now.
Yep.
Leslie, you want to wrap maybe with just a few closing words? And then also, I'd love to give you the opportunity to pick who you want us to raid.
Sure.
If you want to have a look and maybe give us a few parting words. And again, thank you from myself and from Kiyomi for being such a good partner with us.
So I just want to thank all the friends for coming in. I really, really appreciate you and all the things that you do for community. I'm really about positivity, and I want to tell people I have my bad days. So don't always come and think that I don't, but I'm always transparent about that. When I'm not feeling well, I still show up because this is a business and I love what I do. I really do. And that's the key. Find something that you love. If you are having a difficult time, and it's like a struggle every single day to do it, find something, find that hidden talent or that talent or something that you did years ago before you went off to college and maybe your parents told you couldn't do it or whatever. You can do it. You can do it. Get out of your own way and just do it. Just do it. You're wonderful. I appreciate every single one of you. The people who have my back. If we just met, friend, I see you. I validate you and I believe in you. Society may not believe in you, but until you get there, you're golden. You're golden. Yeah. So I think it just comes right up. One of my favorite people, she has 15 people. I would love to raid Homeschool Mama.
You got it.
If that's okay. Yeah, let's go. Hey. Lauren. She's a homeschool mama like I used to be. So I love it. School
mama. I see her. We'll go raid her. Chat. You know what we do? Show up, show some love. Leslie, again, tons of thanks. I might be hitting you up if I'm having a bad day for some uplifting words.
I saved your number.
We all have them. We all have them. And thank you. This was truly a lot of fun for me on a personal level. And tremendous fan of you. And Thank you for everything you do.
You.
All right, chat. Thanks for hanging out, Leslie. I'll catch you soon. And
everybody, throw some soap emojis in the chat so Lauren know I sent you.
Yeah, soap it up. Soap it up when we get there. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.
Take care.
Hi. Hey. Wow. Let me give you a giveaway. Okay. Hi. I'm gonna give you guys a gift card. Let's do this. Okay. Hi everybody. I'm Homeschool Mama. Let me get this gift card going through. Wait. Okay. There you go. Get a gift card. I'll run you a I'll run. Hi you guys. I'm Homeschool Mama. I am I sell clothes and a bunch of random stuff. And thank you, Big Mama, for this. You guys, I sell a bunch of things. Hi. How are you guys doing? I'm gonna send you no pressure. I do terrible with pressure. You guys, this is awful. It's great. It's great. Let me run some stuff, right? Is that what we're supposed to do? My eyes, I'm overwhelmed. It's okay. You guys, just so you guys know, I'm Homeschool Mama. I have 4 kids and my kid is screaming right now. I sell women's clothing. I sell garage sale. I like to have a good time. Yeah. So.
All right, guys. We rated over to Homeschool Mama, who's hilarious. Her reaction was fabulous. We'll see you on the next one. Hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a comment. Be sure to give A_reworkers passion. Here, we'll mute that. Make sure you give Leslie a follow at A_reworkers_passion. And be sure to follow and tune in to Whatnot Sellers. And also be sure to go check out Silver Drip, SILVERDRIP. I've tagged him in the video here. Definitely check out those Whatnot shows. Reworkers Passion, you heard what she does and what she's all about. You heard a little bit about what Kenny is about. Kenny is the seller development, I guess one of the head leaders of that group to help all of us sellers on Whatnot. So be sure to give him a follow and check out his shows. He and his nephew sell Hot Wheels, and they're not just your ordinary Hot Wheels. There's some pretty smoking ones in there. Anyway, everybody, thanks for watching. Have a good one. See you on the next one.